Welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mawani and the date today is 20th September 2017. Day is Wednesday. Let's see what we have got in Press Information Bureau. But before moving ahead, we have a good news for you, and that is pertaining to Navratri offer. You will be able to get some benefits on pendrive and Android courses that StudyIQ designs particularly for your studies. So if you don't have one, I would recommend all of you to check out our website and also give us a call on this number to know more about this Navratri offer that is available on our pendrive and Android courses. The valid time for this thing is till 29th of September, so make sure you hurry up because you have just 9 days of this Navratri to get benefit of this Navratri offer. Moving on, dear friends, the person that you can see on your screen, his name is Antonio Canova. Now this person, basically he used to when he was quite young, when he was a child, he used to work as a dishwasher for a very prosperous or affluent person, or a sort of an affluent family. Now the thing is, whenever he used to find some spare time, he used to spend this time in observing a person who was a sculptor. He was not far from the place where he used to work, so in his free time he used to hang around at his place and he used to observe how they are cutting the stone, how they are designing the whole sculpture, and how they are shaping it, etc., etc. So one day what happened, that as he was working for an affluent person, this person he was throwing a big party for his associates and his business circle and social circle. So there were many famous VIPs who were going to arrive in this party, and there were some chefs who were engaged in designing the ballroom, and they were designing this a grand table with some food items. They were trying to give it a sort of creative shape, but whilst the chef was doing it, he found that he was failing in it, so he was quite stressful. And at this point of time, Antonio kicked in and he said that, "Is there anything, sir, I can help you with? I know a little bit, and if you allow me, then I can create something." And the chef said, "Yes, go ahead with it if you can help us out." And then Antonio requested these people to bring lots and lots of frozen butter. With this frozen butter, what he started doing something with it, and people were observing. They were very keen and curious, like what Antonio is doing. So far they were knowing him as a person, as a quiet person who was just doing dishes. He was just cleaning dishes and doing some sort of he was just working as a labor in this big house. But eventually what he created was a very beautiful sculpture made up of butter, and this was placed in the center in this huge ballroom. And when all the guests arrived, they found that this is a very beautiful thing that was created, that was lying on the table, and they were appreciating. And there was one person who was expert in this thing, and he said that the person who has made it, he has made as something marvelous. This person has got skill. So he requested this party person, the person who was hosting the party, he told him, I would like to meet this person. And then he met him, and then he realized that this person has got some skills, or he has some talent. So he told this party host that he should be sent to a good education. Like, when I say education, I mean to say he should be trained in a university or college that is dealing with arts and sculpture making thing, right, this area. So the person, this affluent person, said that I would be more than happy to sponsor Antonio if he can make something out of it. And he was sponsored by this person, and later on Antonio became one of the most renowned sculptor of the world. This is the thing that we are going to talk about. No, we are not going to talk about sculpture making, but we are going to talk about education. If you observe the past papers, you find that education has always been there. You will find questions based on education. If you go through your past papers, like if you go to 80s as well, then as well you will find education. If you check out 2016's mains examination, then as well we find education. Then demographic dividend as well, you find question on demographic dividend, how education, skill, creativity, etc. These are the things that can help us in developing our country or making our people more productive, or the population more productive. You find indirect questions as well on then this sort of indirect questions you can and you should add something regarding education, because we find that everything, if you want to develop your country in the political terms or economic terms or social terms, then education plays a very important or crucial role, isn't it? Dear friends, what happened today is basically President Sri Ramnath Kovind, he attended a Golden Jubilee celebration of Jesus and Mary College in New Delhi, and on this occasion he shared his thoughts on education, and he shared his thoughts about skill and other things. And these things are very important because it is said by the president of our country, and many of the words or the things that he has said are very much important for your mains answer writing as well as for your essay topic. And of course, if you are thrown questions regarding education, or if you are asked to provide some solutions during your interview as well, then these things that we are going to discuss is going to be very important for your overall preparation, right, dear friends? Now, what President said, he said that institutions like education institutions play a huge role in nation building. He said that education institutions are preparing young women to break glass ceilings. Basically, they are breaking the glass ceiling. That means they are coming out of the cages or the four walls of the house, and they are coming out in the market. They are coming to the institutions of higher educations, and due to this education they are reaching their maximum potential, and eventually it is about nation building, because if we educate 50% of our population, that is the woman lot, then only we would be able to achieve the dream of new India by 2022. Or if we want to develop our country from developing, if we want to see ourselves as a developed country, then education for women is a important thing. He also talked about Christian community, because he was here in Jesus and Mary College. So of course he talked about Christian community, and he said that Indian history, if we go back to history of our country, we find that 2000 years ago, since then, right, from last 2000 years, we have Christians living in our country. You know that we follow Gregorian calendar, and when I said that today is 2017, 20th September 2017, 2017 means it has been 2017 years since Jesus Christ. And you can imagine, if we are saying that if our history, if we go back to our history, and if we find Christians living here since 2000 years, then that itself indicates that we are a very old civilization. In fact, we are a very diverse civilization as well. I will provide you some pictures regarding it in the next slide. Apart from that, he also talked about missionary institution. Now, when he is saying that missionary institution, missionary basically means that institutions that are affiliated with Christianity, they are known as missionary institutions. And we also find in our history that we had gurukuls, we had system of gurukuls, and we had Nalanda University, first university of the world. If we go back to if we observe other religions as well, then we find that religion, or this religious community, has always played a pivotal role in educating the society. If we go through the books, like religious books like Bible, Gita, Quran, then as well you will find there are chapters in it in which the book is talking about one should acquire knowledge, gain wisdom, learn and evolve and grow. These are the things that you find. These are things that are common in all major religious books as well. In fact, what they are trying to make is they are trying to make better human beings that can coexist peacefully. Now, when I was talking about 2000-year-old Christian history, then here you can see Jesus Christ, and with him you can see a person. This person is Saint Thomas. He is known as Apostle of Christ, and he used to we are talking about this part of the world, right, where we have Israel and Syria. So from here, Apostle of Christ, he was literally he used to be there when Jesus was in this part of the world, and after that time it is said that he arrived in Kerala, and we know that this part of Keralian coast is known as Malabar coast. So this is the reason why the Christians that you see in this part of our country, they are known as Syrio-Malabar Christian. That means they came from Syria and to Malabar. That's why they got this name, Syrio-Malabar Christian. So this in fact indicates our old civilization roots, and these are going to be beneficial as well, how I'm going to tell you in next slide. Now coming back to President's point of view, or what he said that education is not just about acquiring knowledge, it is just a starting point. Acquiring knowledge is a starting point, but the main goal should be that once you get education, then you should engage in ensuring that welfare or the prosperity of the people who do not have education or who are lagging behind, they should be uplifted as well. And this can be done by an educated class, right? Or when I say educated class, I mean to say that people who get good education, they can of course have a good impact or positive impact on the life of other people as well. And this is you can take your own example as well. Now you all are preparing for civil services examination, and we all are lucky. When I say we, I mean to say we Indians are lucky that we have this sort of examination through which, just by education, if you train yourself, if you educate yourself, then you can join civil services in a very tender age. You can join a very high position, and you know very well have a good IAS, IPS, IFS or other services, civil servants, how their decisions can impact millions and millions of people, isn't it? So this is a privilege itself, and we should positively utilize this privilege. If we educate ourselves now, then we would be able to uplift the people who are not getting all the facilities that we are getting, and in this sense we would be doing the act of nation building as well. See the words of Nelson Mandela as well. He has said that education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. When he's talking about change the world, he's saying that all the evils that we have in our world, it can be changed when we use the weapon of education. If you have poverty, you can get rid of poverty once you educate people. You can get rid of literacy, beg your pardon, illiteracy. You can get rid of other things, the partiality that is conducted towards women. This can be changed as well when the society gets educated. So all the evils can be changed, and we can change the whole world through education. Education is not only about getting degrees or accumulating degrees, right? So please do not confine yourself with this thing that if you have masters or PhDs then you are educated. No, until and unless if you are not contributing, then your education is not complete. You are just in the starting point. You haven't started the journey yet. And when we were talking about the missionary institutions, and when I told you that if you go through the religious books, then as well you will find that it is hinting us to move ahead. It is hinting us to grow and acquire knowledge, become more curious, and help other become better human beings. And you find these things are practiced by other religious institutions as well. There are many organizations, many private companies as well, like corporate companies are also doing this as a corporate social responsibility, and there are other religious institutions as well who are providing good services in educating people and eventually uplifting the whole nation. Now what education does is, that's the reason why I provided you an example of Antonio. Antonio was just a seed when he was cleaning the dishes, isn't it? Then he observed someone who was a sculptor. Then he got bits and pieces. He acquired a little bit of knowledge here and there, isn't it? Then he got a chance to make a sculpture of butter. But when he was sent to a formal training, when he started learning from people who knew about this art a bit better than Antonio, after that Antonio was able to reach his full potential, and he became a fully grown tree producing lots and lots of fruit and oxygen. So this is the thing, this is the same thing that happens with any individual or society. When people get good education, these are the fruits they provide to the society. They give it back in this way. Now President also said that we are living in a multiple transformation period. We are living in an era where things are changing quite rapidly, and we know a couple of days ago we were talking about how Nitin Gadkari said that the petrol and diesel cars are going to get outdated, and instead of that government is trying to bring electric vehicles. So you know that when we were studying mechanical engineering, and if we are just confined with the books, then we know that we are not thinking about the future, what are the changes that can come, and how we can design something that can be utilized, how we can make ourselves future resistant, how we can ensure that the future is more brighter rather than more darker. And when I told you that all the civilization, what is the importance of all civilization when we are talking about education? The thing is that, dear friends, we have a sort of from the longest period of time, we have this sort of formalization of education. At one point of time, we used to have the best of the best people living in our country, Aryabhatta, and there are many examples. When you talk about poets, a sports person, there are many examples that I can go on and on. Warriors as well. At that point of time, it was a profession, so we had good warriors as well. So there were institutions that were producing these warriors and other people that were necessity of that point of time. But now the thing is that we have this good experience being an old civilization. At the same time, we are a young nation. 65% of our population is below 35. On average, Indian population is 28 years of age when we talk about average. So we are a young nation, and the benefit of young nation is that we have hot blood. When I say hot blood, I'm not saying that you attack someone with nuclear weapons. I mean you have more energy in your blood. You are more risk-taking as a nation, as a community. You are more adventurous because you are young. The other thing is that you have long years of productivity in front of you as a future. You can, as a youngsters, we can be more flexible. We can easily adapt to the changes, the faster changes that are going on around us. And this is we are witnessing this thing as well in our life. We are seeing the way there are drastic changes taking place in social and economical context of our country, isn't it? We are seeing this thing, and these are the benefits. We can change, and we can become as flexible as possible as per the need of the time, and this is one of the most important thing as well. The other thing he talked about was, he said that education should be accessible, and education should have good quality education. It should not be like you are getting access to an education center, but you find that quality is very rough, or quality is very low. And it should not be that you have quality education, quality institutions, but you cannot access it for whatever reason. It could be either money, or it could be your previous education, etc. So this should not be a situation. There should be a balance between quality education and accessibility to this quality education. Apart from that, he also talked about fourth industrial revolution, and we know that digitization is taking place. Robots are not something that was just in the books. It is now a reality. Many countries like Japan and European countries are deploying robots to do many things, and there is a resistance as well that is going on around the world. And this resistance was seen when we were migrating from typewriter to computers. It was also witnessed when it was also seen when we were migrating from horse cart towards the cars, isn't it? And it is also, there are many people who are resisting that we should not bring artificial intelligence, we should not bring automatic cars. In fact, government as well, Indian government is resisting that it is not going to bring automatic cars. But the thing is that every new challenges will bring something and something for us. We will find jobs. When new technology will come in, it will definitely create more jobs as well. No doubt about it. So this is not something that we should shy away from, but in fact we should make ourselves more future proof, isn't it? And the only thing that can make our young population future proof is higher learning institutions. These are the temples or industries, or you can say factories, that are going to make bright, and they are going to make bright people, or they are going to add skills to this young blood, so that they can adapt to all the changes that are going to take place in near future. Apart from that, if we observe the ranking of our country, then as well we find that we are not doing that good. We have talked about this thing in detail in a couple of days ago, so you can relate, of course, all the data that I have provided you with this lecture. And with this, let me tell you that this education, as I told you, it has been a topic that is asked again and again. So it is not something that after the end of this lecture everything will be covered, not at all. We have to keep ourselves updated with all the things that are happening around us, particularly with this sort of topics like education, environment, etc., etc. So do consider this topic as today's discussion as an add-on to what we have discussed earlier on. Now, the biggest problem that we are finding in our country, or the big companies, what they find with our youngsters, is that they are not trainable. The companies are saying that Indian youth are not trainable. They do not possess that sort of skills, and these skills are pertaining to soft skills, interpersonal skills. These are the things, right? And because of this, we find underemployment, This is not about this situation creates a thing that you cannot explore your full potential. And this is the reason why the management schools, and when I say schools, I'm talking about management universities and colleges. This is the terminology that is used at management schools and engineering institutions. You find on an average 30% seats are lying vacant because people are not finding jobs. So what can be done? The most important thing is that they should be allowed, universities and colleges should be provided with autonomy. They should be able to decide what course or what are the things, or which teacher or who is going to teach what, etc. What are the things that should be included and what are the things that should be excluded from the syllabus. Apart from that, we should also attract foreign universities, because competition is going to be beneficial for the consumers. And when I say consumer, I'm talking about students. So if there is a tough competition between an Indian institution and a foreign institution, then it will definitely benefit all of us. There are some other figures as well. These are very simple and easy to understand, so help yourself with it. The other thing that I would like to discuss with all of you is about one thing, and I believe that this is something related with our culture. This is a thing that we do not associate with education, and this has been a negative side of our education system as well, and this is sports I'm talking about. You know very well that here in our country we are being provided with two options, whether you want to go ahead with sports or do you want to carry on with your studies. This is something, these two things are not working in silos. They are not working on its own. They are interdependent on each other. And if you might have observed that if you are playing sports, then you find that you will feel energetic, and this will help you in your studies as well. If you're not engaged in any sort of sports or physical activity, then I would recommend all of you to do that. And of course, in starting time, you will feel a sort of drag, and you will feel burnout by the end of the day, but eventually you will grow up and you will find more comfortable, and you will find that you will develop a good habit. Now the other thing is that central government today itself has revamped and launched Khelo India program. It is going to provide financial support to sports people and to talented people who want to grow ahead, or the people who want to go ahead or want to make sports as their career. So they are going to get financial support and other facilities. But the thing is, dear friends, if you observe our films, right, you might have watched Dangal, or if you watch Chak De or Mary Kom or other films that are related, or they are talking about sports, all the sports film, you find that there is a huge struggle through which people have to go through. This should not be an ideal situation. Of course, the people who have excelled in these things, they have done something exceptional, but this should not be the case. This should not be the normal, right? We should provide our people, particularly the schools. If you observe the schools nearby your area, then you will find that they are running very well. All that is required is classrooms and teachers and fans and tube lights and a staff room and toilets. We are not focusing on playgrounds. There are many schools in the city area that don't have playground. They show playgrounds, and there is all corrupt practices going on because we do not pay attention to the sports. And the sport is important because when I was talking to you about this thing that we are not trainable or we do not possess that skills, then we have solutions in sports. Because in fact now government itself today, whilst launching this Khelo India program, government said that sport is good for, or it is a tool for individual, community, economic and national development. And let me tell you that the theme of this revamp Khelo India program is sports for all and sports for excellence. The thing is, dear friends, if you come across the MNCs, some of the latest or some of the best MNCs in the world, say for example Google, then in Google you literally have at your workplace, you have all sorts of playgrounds, you have sports grounds for all. They have sports parks. So if you are bored while sitting on the desk, then you can literally take a break and you can go there. There would be people playing there. You can play a sport, whatever you like. Then you can come back when you are feeling, or when your mood is changed and now you are feeling to work, and go back to your desk. The thing is, if you play sports, then these are the benefits that you get. You develop leadership quality. You also learn how to work in a team. You become more people person. Then you become more confident. You will learn soft skills, you will handle pressure, your health will improve, your overall performance will improve. And if we add these things from the very beginning, right, this is something out of the box, and it is not something that is common. I told you that this is a cultural problem, that we are not taking sports as a supportive thing for our education and for our job environment. In professional environment at present, most of the CEOs are engaging themselves, or they are ensuring that they are always engaged with something and something that is related with sports, because this is helping them immensely. And there are so many research that have been conducted on it, and it has been proved that sport is something that will enhance your capacity in the work life as well. So with this, dear friends, I end this discussion. I hope you might have got some new insights regarding this topic. Of course, as I told you, this is an ongoing topic, so we will talk about it when we find something that we should discuss, something more credible on which we should discuss, isn't it? Today I don't have an MCQ for you, but I have a sort of descriptive question for you. Please help yourself with it. Try to go through the question and do write down your answer in the comment section. You don't have to write long essays. You can just write a couple of points, right? 5, 6, 10 points would be more than enough, but make sure whatever you write is clear. Do recheck it and then post it. I do go through all your comments, and thank you very much for providing all the positive feedbacks, and keep on doing this. This is an interactive platform. We have to maintain it. We have to ensure that this remains interactive. And do not forget to get your Navratri offer on pen drive and tablet courses. With this, I would like to take your permission. I'll see you all soon. Till then, enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.